not yet?
In a minute. Just because I'm not ready with mine, but when you're ready with yours, I would wait a little while because garlic does cook quite quickly. So I've got 3 garlic cloves, and the way that I'm doing them is just chopping them up. I'm not as fast as Raj was, so when we did the Indian one. So you've got a bit of time to breathe with my style of cooking.
Yeah, he's used to shipping it out the door in 10 minutes, isn't he? Yeah. So, are you cooking the garlic yet, Jill? Or what is that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
It will speed up in a bit, but these chopping takes a bit of a while. Right. Right. Now, my garlic looks like, can anybody see the garlic on there, or is it the colour contrast isn't? But anyway, 3 garlic cloves, and what I'm going to do, while I just stir the onions, keep stirring your onions. If I'm going to put a bit of salt on the garlic, only so that I can crush it, and then I crush it with a knife before I put it in. It gets the garlic juice running out a bit.
So you're crushing the garlic before you cook it?
Yeah.
You haven't cut it up, just crushed it?
No, I've cut it up and I'm crushing.
I've got a fresh jar of paste ready, Paul. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay, garlic in. I'm just going to rinse my hands in cold water there because they're going to smell of garlic. Mustn't forget stuff. Okay. Vary the heat as you need to. Can you smell the garlic?
Can you smell the garlic? This is really funny watching a load of people cook dinner. Really great. While I sit on the beach in Cyprus.
Paul, have you got a drink, mate?
No, not yet.
You need to have a word with your chef. Organise that drink, mate.
Chef needs to be looked after. The drink needs to come to me.
Actually, I might go and pause for a minute. How long is the onion simmering for, is a question, Julie?
It's just, I just wanted to, well, another, you see, this is why I normally do it as I feel. Mine hasn't started really to brown yet. It's only just heating up. So I need it for another 3 minutes or so, I think.
Till it browns, I think, Anne, is the answer.
Not brown too much, just begins to brown, you know.
Brown.
Beginning to right now. But, do get your mince ready, because that's going to go in next.
So get your mince ready, correct? Out of the packets, presumably. So I'm just going to, oh, 1 second.
A bit more. How's everybody? If your onions are beginning to go brown, it's time to put the mince in. Mine haven't yet, so I'm waiting for a minute or so.
Mine's translucent.
Yeah, translucent's all right. I just like it to start to go just a little bit brown. I've got a few beginning to go brown. Means then they're cooked just enough.
Hey, Julia.
Yeah.
I had a special delivery from my butcher, and the main reason was to get the really good quality minced lamb, and then I bought a bunch of other stuff I didn't need, but yeah.
Cool. Well done you. I went to the butcher as well, and normally he does it for me there and then, but he'd already got some, so I kept saying to him, it is your premium, isn't it? So, right, I'm just about getting ready to put the mince in now. A whole kilo of mince, and then you need to, with a wooden spoon, start to kind of get it pieces. Start breaking your lamb mince up. I know a few of you are doing vegetarian, so please vary the time according to what your vegetarian option needs. My mince is very dense today.
Smells lovely, Julia.
Pardon?
Smells lovely. I can smell it from here.
It does, doesn't it? We've all got the same lovely smell. Garlic and onions always signify good cooking for me. Right, I'm going to now start seasoning.
Do we need to wait for the mince to brown a little bit, or just seal?
No, you just keep it going. It needs to. Mine hasn't even begun to seal, so you know you do need it to go a little bit brown. Yes, but we're going to be putting stuff into it as it cooks. I'm just seeing what messages we have. Okay. Close. That's better. Taking its time to. Oh, throwing lamb all over the kitchen.
Sorry, Julie, I was just having to deal with a technical crisis in Archway. Where are we up to now?
We're just we've chopped the onions and put them into the oil, browning them. We've also put the garlic in, and also we've added the lamb.
Right.
And we're just keep stirring the lamb until it begins. So you're going to cook it.
We're cooking up the mushroom. Sorry, not the mushrooms. The lamb mince plus the onion plus the garlic.
Yeah.
I'm getting that all going. Okay.
Get it all going. Yeah, mine's now breaking up properly. It was taking its time.
Okay.
Now, where is my pepper? There it is. So I'm going to start seasoning basically. So as this cooks, we will begin to season it.
Sophia, you don't look like you're cooking. Fair enough.
Julia, what seasoning? Just salt and pepper?
Yes, I'm only using pepper because I'm going to, because I've got other things that, you know, like I've got some gravy to put in instead of a stock cube. But I do use quite a lot of black pepper, although this doesn't grind very efficiently, so it takes me a bit longer.
Paul, I was just having a look at all the wonderful participants and everyone stirring. That's what you saw me doing. It's so cool to see everyone busy.
Oh, yes, please. Can I have you? No, it's all right. Yes.
I wonder if there's a world record for the largest amount of participants in a cook-along.
Yeah, I wonder. Shall we set it up, Rosie, for it?
I think we should do that, you know. I think we should sort of like set up, say, you know, raise money, but also sort of like see if we can get a large number of people getting together to do a cook-along.
Yeah, I think we should get Raj to help us though, because otherwise.
Rosie, I think that like recently, I think it was Emerald Lagasse or somebody like that got the record for the world's biggest cook-along, and it was like 10,000 people or something.
Wow! Wow!
Oh wow!
I think that would be tough.
I don't think we could anywhere close to match that. Right, now what I would like you to do while that's cooking away, keep stirring it every now and again, we need to get our herbs chopped. Now, I hope you've got a nice lot of parsley. When I put it in salad, I chop all the stalks off. When I put it in here, I just chop the last little bit off because it's, you know, they cook up anyway. So, right, about that much that I've chopped off the bottom that I chuck away. And then I'm going to get my bigger, oops, that's the mint. We'll start with the parsley. I'm going to chop over here because I've got a bigger chopping board. And you chop it quite finely, everyone.
All the parsley, or do you need some for later?
The parsley, well, it depends. If you are having Greek salad and you want some parsley in your salad, keep some for the salad. I've done 2 lots. I've got one for here, and I've put more aside for the salad because I quite like some flat leaf parsley in my salad.
Do we chop the mint in the same way?
Yes, in a minute though, because I think you need to strip the mint leaves.
Yeah.
Whereas with the parsley, you just chop the parsley, and you know, the stem as well is okay as long as it's not coarse.
The parsley in the salad chopped or just left whole?
Leave it whole because you'll chop it not quite so finely.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Knife here. We're not putting the herbs in yet, mind. We're just chopping them ready.
How do I get a big? I can't get this meeting on a big screen. It's got it on a little screen at the left side. I can't get it to go. Ah, I've got it.
I'm going to mute you because we're just in dialogue. All right, I'll come back. All right. So Chris Harris has asked Julia, can we have a recap on the seasoning? He had to leave the room.
All I've done is put some black pepper in mine.
So what we've got to is
I'm going to put some gravy in a minute.
So we've cooked the onion, we've cooked the garlic, we've put in the lamb mince, And we've seasoned it with a bit of pepper. Have I missed anything?
That's it. Turn your mince down and let it cook. It needs to cook actually, because
Can I ask?
a little bit of fluid, and then it will need to redo it. Now let's chop up parsley as well. And with the parsley, if you can strip the bottom leaves, and then just chop the top bit.
Parsley or mint?
Parsley, mint needs a bit too on the bottom. Stalks.
All of the parsley, Julia.
Well, it depends on are you having salad?
No.
If you're not, then all of your parsley you can put in. If you want to keep some for the salad later.
Is it just the leaves or the stalks as
The
well?
leaves and the stalks.
Yeah.
If it's parsley,
Yeah.
I do use stalks, but not if they're very thick, because then they're too coarse. But if it's mint, no, I'm just tearing the leaves off the mint. Because it would be they would just be too coarse. So while that lamb is sizzling away, just turn it right down. Just sizzle away. It won't just I've got quite a lot of mint. You know, again, according to your own taste. I quite like, what I love about cooking that my mum used to do is the beautiful smell of parsley and mint together. Is just, to me, that's the smell of a good Greek kitchen. So
I think
your parsley really fine again.
when do we need to put in the wine? As Tim has.
Not yet.
Sorry, Tammy, what was that?
Very good. It's the herbs, isn't it? It's delicious.
Just chop them. The pan in a minute. Right, so you should have some finely chopped parsley and some finely chopped mint. Here's my mint and here's my parsley, ready to go in, but we're not putting it in yet. So the next thing we're going to do is put in, if you've got a little bit of stock, if you've got a stock cube, just dilute it with a little bit of water, but only put about half a cup in. So where's my gravy gone? I'll put it in the fridge. Sorry. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh. Where's it gone? Have I put it? Sorry, I've lost my own seasoning. I won't give it.
So how are we doing? We should be simmering away on the lamb, nicely minced up with its herbs, I think.
Sorry to interrupt. As a viewer, Chris is doing really badly. As an observer, he's failing.
Guys, I've got a little bit of gravy that I preserved from a roast lamb. So it's only a small dish. So you only need about that much in terms of stock, or half a stock cube or a whole stock cube. Depends if you've salted if you put salt in, you only need enough of this to flavour it.
I don't know.
Sorry, Robert. What
I'll let the lady go first.
Go on, Robert.
Does the parsley go in with the mince?
Not yet. It will do, but not yet.
Okay, thanks.
That needs to go in quite late. Right, I'm putting the heat up again just to keep the mince at the same.
Can I ask a question? I'm completely lost because I started late. So I've got the onions and the garlic frying. Do I then put the mincemeat in?
Yes, you do.
And what else do you put in?
That's it for now. And then as it's cooking and as you're stirring it, you season it.
Season it with a bit of pepper and then chop up some mint and parsley, I think.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
parsley in. We were just getting ready. Now I would put up the meat quite high just to get, because once you put more fluid in, you need to get it to reduce, if that's making sense. Is everybody up to speed with it?
What fluid? What fluid? Do you put water? What fluid?
No, once as you start cooking the mince, it drops its own fluid.
Okay.
I have just put in a little bit of gravy that I kept from the roast we had, but you
Yeah, we've got a very serious question here. When do we put in the wine as Tim has nearly finished the bottle, says Sally?
Sorry, when do we put in, say again? The wine? Oh, I see.
Because Tim's nearly finished the bottle.
Okay, now, wine. Are we ready with our wine?
Ah, here comes the wine.
Put the heat up so that you're not...
Oh, sorry, Julia, has the stock gone in now?
Pardon? The stock should have gone in, yeah.
Okay, yeah, good.
And a little bit more wine. Quite like a bit of wine. In as much as you like, really. Now that needs to reduce, so keep it on high heat now.
It's definitely red wine, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
The volume is quite low.
Because it's St. Patrick's Day, can we put Guinness in?
That's a new one. I've not tried that. I'll have to try that. I didn't think to try that.
Here we go, I guess.
It would go. Give it a bit of a completely different flavour, I think. But
I don't think they do that in Cyprus. But you can try.
Guinness is over there.
My volume is quite low. Is it possible to turn it up a little bit?
That's at your end, Maria.
I can't find, it doesn't work from the computer. I don't know how to turn it up.
Sorry, can't help you.
It's,
You've got buttons on. What are you using, a computer or your phone?
I'm using my computer. My phone wouldn't let me.
All right. So you can find the volume on your computer, Maria.
I have found the volume. It doesn't work.
All right, okay.
It's from Zoom. There is a setting on Zoom to turn the volume up.
Yeah, go to the settings.
yes. Has everybody got their oregano? Nice big tub of oregano. So,
how much oregano, Julia?
Well, I'm just putting my hand in, and I'm very, very generous pinch. Maybe 2. That's it.
I can't get my hand in the bottle. The bottle's too small. How do I get my hand in the bottle?
I'll get.
Right, is your mince bubbling away, everybody?
How much oregano for these little bottle people?
A teaspoon, a tablespoon.
Oh, probably a tablespoon.
Tablespoon. Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe 2, was it?
Julie said, wow.
Right, now.
Are you sure? We won't taste the lamb, will we?
I'm hungry.
I guess it depends how much meat you've got there as well.
Kilo.
Enough for 10 people, I think.
I'll tell you what though, Paul, our butcher, the one that we've used this time, I'm not letting him tell me any more lamb unless I see him mince it. It's very different to the last one we had.
Oh. So I'm already on a warning that it's not going to be very good. I think that was posted.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed. It's just dropped so much water, it's untrue. Right, I want you to do one more bit of preparation. Your tin that you're going to put the lamb in, that we're going to cook our moussaka in, you need a brush. Just drizzle it with oil. Brush oil all around it. while your lamb cooks. My lamb needs to cook a bit longer. So brush it with all up the sides.
We're brushing the tin, or if people are using Clive.
Is it olive oil or
olive oil?
Not.
You can do olive oil.
Olive oil. Yeah.
Actually, I just use the one nearer to me because I use a lot of olive oil in my cooking. So I don't mind if I do this with rapeseed oil or olive oil. Once you've wiped it, then get your breadcrumbs. Just need to, don't forget to keep stirring the lamb.
Paul?
Yeah.
Does it have to be a tin, or can it be a proper earthenware?
Absolutely can be.
Steve, I think.
Thank you.
Do grease it with oil. So, we're meant to be at the point where we start layering the tin, I think, which is pretty cool.
Behind, sorry.
Yeah,
How much stock went in and how much wine?
how much stock and how much wine, Julie?
About half a cup, half a normal cup of stock, and about the same of wine.
Oh.
So half a cup. How big is the cup? Yeah, is this a mug-sized cup, or is it?
Can you repeat?
Red Trouser Day mug.
Do the breadcrumbs go on the side or only on the bottom?
Side as well if you can.
Side as well if you can.
Breadcrumbs on the side as well. Yeah. So we're putting the breadcrumbs on the base and the side of the pan. I've just had another question. Is there flour in there?
No flour.
I wasn't doing that, so don't have.
Oh, guys, Bailey.
No, I haven't ever. I've
When
never.
Good evening.
Prepared. They can hear you.
Bailey here was settling and putting in the lamb.
Hi there.
Hi.
Good evening. Hi there. Hi there. Hi Julia. Hi Paul. Hi everybody else. We're doing it in relay. We're doing it in relay. Have we added any tomato puree yet?
Yeah.
I've done plenty of wine in me and in the pan. Is that right?
Yeah, that works.
Perfect.
Yeah. Good. Good.
When do the herbs go in? When does the parsley and?
Now I'm going to put the tomato in. You ready to put your tomatoes in?
Tomatoes in, but is any of the other herbs in yet, Julia, is the question. So what else is in there?
Oh, sorry, the oregano should have been in there by now, the dried oregano, but not yet the fresh herbs.
Not the fresh herbs.
Paul, there's a few questions on the chat.
Yeah. Julia put in the chopped mint and parsley yet? No, so not yet.
Not yet.
And the question, Julia, is it all the breadcrumbs? Should all the breadcrumbs have been used?
Not all of them, you may need some more.
But don't use all of them because you might need some more.
I'm definitely going to need some in my lamb because my lamb's dropped too much fluid. Now I've got some Liam Perrins, so again, if you look,
Liam Perrin?
I think it brings
She's. Oh,
a good shape of.
did you hear that about the breadcrumbs?
What?
Yeah, Rob. I'll put you back. Thank you. Right.
Can somebody type up what Julia's doing? Because I'm not in the kitchen.
What?
Hello?
I don't know what.
Can someone type up what you've put in the pan?
Well,
just type up on the because I'm not in the kitchen. I can't look at it. I'm in the kitchen and my computer is far away.
I see. Okay. Well, so far, you should have Done. The onions, the garlic, the mint, the bay leaves, the oregano, the tomato, the stock.
How much tomato?
Well, I squashed up one big one.
Oh, that tomato, not the puree.
No, I'm just about to do the puree, funnily enough.
Thank you so much, Julie.
Julie, are the bay leaves in there?
They are, everybody was talking. Yes, the bay leaves are in there now. Now, I'm putting my tomato puree in.
Hang on.
Bay leaves, tomato puree are in.
Oh, tomato puree in.
What about the crushed tomatoes?
They're in. They should be in.
Are in.
So the tomato puree gives it a nice redder because of fresh tomatoes.
Sorry, Julia, the tomato puree is in as well?
Yes, it is in now.
How much tomato puree?
It's about about a third of a tube.
You don't have tubes.
About 2 tablespoons.
Thank you.
2 tablespoons of puree, and your tomatoes should be in there.
Should. Now we're about ready to start layering. Is everybody up to speed? Before we start layering,
not yet.
Herbs in.
Yeah. The fresh herbs are in, are they?
No, I'm just about this minute to put them in.
Okay.
So the idea with the breadcrumbs is you oil the tray and then put breadcrumbs in the tray.
Yes.
You actually is yes, to form a kind of seal on the tray. Right, so that's my mint gone in. Now my parsley. I put the herbs in last because they're fresh, so you don't.
Fresh herbs are going in now. So, just to recap, what should be in the pan with the lamb, Julie? Run it through slowly. We should have onions.
You should have onions, garlic. So onions, garlic, then lamb.
The lamb mint.
Then we had some seasoning in the form of pepper and also some stock, or a stock cube or gravy or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we had the tomato, well then we had the wine.
Red wine, slosh of red wine, yeah.
And the tomato. We also had oregano in there.
2 tablespoons of oregano.
Bay leaf.
Bay leaf.
And then finally you put your tomato puree. And then the herbs, the fresh herbs. And
Very fresh herbs.
I'm going to show you my. It's bubbling away. Can everybody see it?
Not really, but that'll do.
Yeah.
You mentioned herrings. Was the sauce in there as well at some point?
Mayonnaise, yeah. Bit of Worcester sauce. A couple of splashes.
Yes.
How much?
A few shakes. And also a little bit of Tabasco. I just think it brings the flavour out a bit. Now, I still have some breadcrumbs left. You need breadcrumbs not just for this. So you need, I've got some here for this, and I've got some for the, to put on the very top of it for the bechamel. But what I've got here, I'm now going to try and soak up some of the lamb fluid with breadcrumbs because there's a bit too much fluid and I don't want to keep cooking it. If you cooked it long enough, it would reduce.
Julia, what was layering, please, and what do we do with the parsley?
Put the parsley, we haven't started layering yet. I said I would do it in a minute, but the parsley should be in your lamb at the moment. And the mint should be in your lamb.
Parsley and mint should be in, the fresh herbs should be in. And Julia, do the people a bit confused on breadcrumbs, if I'm honest? So, I know you're putting extra ones in because of water.
Yeah, if you think you've got too much fluid in the lamb, then you can put some breadcrumbs in to soak it up.
Right, but the question is,
if it's quite dry, then don't worry about putting breadcrumbs in.
And the question, Julia, is do we need more breadcrumbs?
only to sprinkle on the top of the moussaka before it goes in the oven, but they're not absolutely necessary if you haven't got enough.
If you can keep back a tablespoon, would you say?
Yes, yes. Good.
Keep back a tablespoon of breadcrumbs.
Right, so I'm now going to do this with my breadcrumbs because my lamb has dropped too much fluid.
The excuses are out already for why it's not going to be very good at our end. So, anybody got a spare place?
I have. You need to come to Amsterdam.
I'll be there in a minute. I'll just get my private helicopter out. If only.
You can bring me back to England on the way home.
Lovely, Sophia.
I think we got Moussaka for about 2 weeks.
Believe me, Robert, only 2 weeks.
When you finish your 2 weeks there, you can come to Canada for another 2 weeks.
Okay, everyone. I think we're going to stop cooking the lamb. It's time to start layering.
Stick it at the sides, it's just too thick.
Start layering.
If your lamb's cooked and you've got all the ingredients together, then phase 2 is about to start.
Has everybody got anything left of the lamb of the first stage ingredients that they haven't used yet?
Let's just have a look at the tray with the vegetables.
Sorry.
Let's have a look at your tray with the vegetables, please. Have a look at it. Just little smear bits on it.
Yeah, it's not kind of, you don't have to get it thick all round. It's just enough to stop it from sticking too much.
I think, isn't it, really? Just right, so
I'm now going to pour my lamb mix into the tray.
Lamb mince and its
sorry.
And its creation are going into
the tray.
Yeah.
Well, all of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it, Julia.
Yeah. All of it.
Oh, okay. You can layer it more if you want, but I just think a layer of mince, a layer of everything else, and then the bechamel on top. So just a little.
The mince is in.
Yeah, but she has not done bechamel. We have time for.
I will not repeat what Christopher said when you said bechamel.
Please don't.
Is it a thin layer of mince first?
No, it's all of it. I do all of it. I mean, you can layer it more if you like.
It's not enough here to layer, Ju. It's just not.
I put
We didn't do enough to do layers.
spread it. Spread it.
Bay leaf still in?
Yes, well, I leave them in, and then people have to push them out as they're eating because it gives maximised flavour. Really, it's quite easy home cooking. It's not, right. Now then,
the question.
Layer.
Julia, where are you now? You put all the mince meat. Do you finish the mince meat? What are you doing? Layering?
Yes, I've put the mincemeat. Well, did you prepare your tin? Madam, did you prepare your tin? Did you
Yes, yeah, I did.
Some bread? Well, pour all of the mince in there.
Yeah.
I prepared it all.
Something that side isn't going to get made.
Julia, I can't hear you.
Pour all the mince into your pan. So here it is, looking like this. And now we're going to start layering.
Oh no.
I use fingers, and I go with the potatoes first because they soak up a lot of the juice, and then just put a layer of potato.
Oh, you don't. Oh, so Julie, do you put mince meat at the bottom, or
That's what I do. It's up to everybody who prefers to do it, but that's how I do it.
Right, so all the mincemeat's in, and now we're putting a layer of potatoes on.
Yeah. Now, when you finish the potatoes, because I know Maria has to run to the kitchen.
Sorry, do you put the mince on the bottom? Do you put the mince first?
Yes.
Then the potatoes and then the vegetables?
Yeah. courgette and the
What should we done first?
I don't know. We can't see it.
Just cover it.
Julie, we can't see your tray.
I'll show you. Right, I'll show you in a second.
Make sure you layer.
Ain't got that many. What's laying?
No, make sure it just covers.
Can everybody see?
That's potatoes on there, yeah?
Yes. So on the top of the mince, I've layered the potatoes.
So we've got a layer of chopped potatoes right across, or sliced potatoes across the top of the mince now.
And the next layer that I use are the courgettes.
And then there's a layer of courgettes on top. And then presumably after the courgettes, it's the layer of aubergine.
Aubergines. But, you know, you can do a layer of mince or a layer of aubergines at the bottom, and then a layer of mince, and then another layer, but it all kind of melts together. So I don't bother. I just do them in, you know, layer of mince, layer of potatoes, layer of courgettes, and then layer of aubergine.
And then
You should have said that first, because Chris is now destroying it to put the potatoes on top of the aubergine.
no, it's not.
No, never mind. It doesn't matter. Any layer.
Chris is perfect. Don't you worry. I've just got a guest who's very aggressive.
Yes, blind.
He also wants to know when he can start drinking the wine.
Anytime you want.
He's giving it up, I've been told.
Okay.
Well, I've finished my 12th bottle of beer, so can I start the wine now?
Right, this is my layered courgettes now. So we have the mince, the potatoes, the courgettes, and finally the aubergines.
So we've got potatoes on top of the mince, for those that have been following the instructions, unlike Chris. We've got courgettes on top of the potatoes, and then we've got aubergine on top of the courgettes. So it's a deep pack of veg and potato.
Yes. An aunt of ours, of mine and Maria's, always says she puts in 2 layers of potatoes. She actually puts in a layer of potatoes on the bottom of the pan, then the mince, and then everything else, because she says that way she can cut it almost like a cake when it's cooked. But I just think that's far too heavy. 1 layer of potatoes is more than enough as far as I'm concerned. So, but, you know, moussaka, as long as you've got the main ingredients in there, you can really layer it as you wish.
Okay, so.
I'm not using aubergines.
Pardon?
I'm only using courgettes because I can't tolerate the aubergines.
Well, then just
all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Vegetables to taste, really. So presumably, are there any other veg people could be adding, you know, in the future, or is it strictly courgettes, aubergines, and potatoes?
Well, if you want to make vegetarian, and you want to do it completely vegetables, you don't want to use corn or anything like that, instead of the mince, I would just fry up with the onions, garlic, everything exactly the same, but instead of the mince, I'd put in loads of mushrooms, chopped mushrooms. And that's rather nice. Sorry, I just need to wash my hands. Right, we're on to the last leg, everybody, and we're going to have to do this sharpish so that we have enough time to cook our delicious moussaka.
I forgot the cooker should be switched on.
Yes, yes.
You haven't. You need
The
your
cooker. I didn't cook.
It's all right. You've got a bit of time. So this is what the tray should look like. Now we get our deep pan. I'm just going to go and get it because I've put it in the dining room to get it out of the way. This is my pan because the tricky bit.
Julia, could you please show me again what your pan looks like with the veggies and stuff in? Okay, so it is quite full. Okay, thank you.
But because the bechamel will just fall in around it, and yes, sometimes it overspills, but I think we'll be all right. Okay.
Yeah, just a question. One of our guests
Yes.
is wearing a hat, who's actually put the vegetables in first. Does that matter?
No, not at all.
So,
Not at all. It's fine, Tim.
it's on top of the veg, so that's okay, is it?
You can, absolutely, any which way you want. I mean, I like it this way, but... Right, I'm just going to get one down, I think.
It's just like an upside down cake. Moussaka.
Ta-ta.
Right, now we need our butter. Put the heat on quite low.
Tablespoon with some butter.
50 grams.
Hang on. Okay, guys, if you've finished with your pan and you've set it your tray, your oven tray, we're now going to start making the bechamel. So we're on the final stretch. And you need a big pan because you're going to be putting in a whole load of milk.
Right.
Like full fat. You know, we don't count calories when we cook Greek cooking.
Believe me, they don't.
Julia, how much butter do we melt?
About, what did I say?
50 grams.
How many grams?
50 grams.
Yeah,
60.
60 grams. Here it is. About that much, Claire. Can you see?
60.
Thank you.
56 grams, I think, was the answer.
In the pan.
How much milk in there, Julia?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, but eventually.
Eventually. What I've got here is also some olive oil. Oh, how many? Because I always just guess, but I'm going to have a look at what I told you about the olive oil.
Just a recap. We're melting the butter in the pan, yeah?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You've got about 60 grams of unsalted butter and 2 tablespoons of olive oil, Julia, it says.
Yeah, 2 was it? I might put a bit more in that.
You need a full litre, Mark, of full fat milk.
You may use it all or not. It depends how much it takes. So here's my big tablespoon of olive oil. I mix butter and olive oil.
We're old fashioned, you see. We've got these. So we need to turn it into pint. We need to turn it into litres.
Yes.
2.2, Mark, I believe.
No, it's not. It's 570 according to my scale.
So guys, the way we get the flavour of olive oil into our cooking is, you know, you brushed your vegetables with olive oil, so you've got that flavour. And now with the bechamel, we've got, I really rather like a little bit. You could do it all with butter if you want, but I prefer to mix butter and olive oil. It just makes it that much more yummy, I think. So when it's melted, do you have your flour? I've sifted mine. I've sifted the flour. I'm just going to season it a bit with some more black pepper.
You should have been heating up your butter and a little bit of olive oil. You've now seasoning your flour. And if you don't know how much tablespoons it says, sifted.
Goat's milk.
How are we doing with this? Have you got your whisks ready as well? We're going to need the whisks in a while. But to start with, just a wooden spoon.
Half a stock pot ready to go.
So we're now going to make the roux.
Where's the flour? Sorry, what's happening with the flour? Is it being mixed into the butter or no? It's sifted, ready for your
Your flour should have a bit of seasoning on it, Denise, and then you're going to start making a roux with it.
Okay, thank you.
A little bit of salt, not much, just a little bit.
It's going to go lumpy.
Sorry, I didn't hear. And what's in there now, Anne? And I just saw a message from Anne. It's the butter and olive oil melting away. And we're just about to put in our flour to make a roux. Now I'm also going to boil a bit of water
So we're making a roux, which is a mix of
Flour. So there we go. I'm just now beginning to put the flour in.
and now you stir in the flour very slowly and get up the mix. Isn't that right, Julie? You need to do that through.
How stiff should the roux be, Julia?
Say that again, Claire.
How stiff should the roux be?
As stiff as you want. It will take, because it just takes more milk.
Okay.
So make it quite stiff.
Julie, would you ask how much milk, please?
About a litre, Robert.
Cheers, Bob. Is that after the flour or before?
I need we got
Right, so we're mixing the roux now, are we? So you're tipping in the butter. Sorry, you're tipping in the flour to the butter oil mix to create your roux. And how solid do you want the roux, Gina?
Quite solid. In fact, let me just see. Let's see.
Solid. Is it all like?
It will begin to go into almost, you know, congealing together. I'll show you in a second.
All a congealed lump, basically like putty or something.
Yeah.
Putty type mix.
Okay, mine now looks a bit like that. Whoops. Can you see?
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of sticking to the sides, but it's quite solid. Just dropped my spoon. Right, now we get our milk.
So now we're going to mix the milk into the roux to make the bechamel sauce. So you should have a nice bottle of full fat milk, about a litre of it, or as much as you need to get. I presume you're looking for a sort of a not a completely running mixture. You want a gooey mix, is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't get an answer to my question, Julia. Could I use goat's milk?
You can.
Yeah. Any more you like, yeah.
Can I? Do I add the flour into the? Because I lost my internet connection.
No. You add the flour into your oil and butter mix.
Oil and butter, yeah.
Roux. Make a roux.
Yeah.
When that's made, we're now about to start adding our milk.
What about the flour?
Flour is added to the oil. You melt your butter and oil.
Yes.
Add the flour.
How much flour? How much?
5 tablespoons.
Right.
4 is enough. 4 is enough, madam, because otherwise you take.
Okay, thank you.
But as you add the milk, it goes even more solid. Just keep adding. Don't be afraid of it.
So making your roux.
And add the milk.
Yeah.
Now, don't be afraid if it goes a bit solid. You just keep adding milk.
So now we're diluting the roux with milk.
It goes even more solid.
It goes even more solid.
So you just keep adding milk. Woo! Sorry. And just keep stirring. It will eventually all melt away. And then when we've added enough milk, we're going to also add a little bit of stock, chicken stock.
Right. Good.
To water it down a bit.
What's not the constituency? That's not the right word, is it? What's the consistency?
Well, at the moment, mine is looking a little bit like bread dough.
So you said a bread dough level.
It will start to loosen up with more milk and stock when we eventually put it on. When we eventually pour it in.
Mine didn't go kind of solidly lumpy before you put the milk in. Is that an issue, or do I just keep going?
No, it's all right. Put the milk in; it will go solidly lumpy when you put the milk in. Has it done that?
Okay.
So we know after solid lumpy stuff.
Yeah, and as you put milk in, it begins. But you're heating it all the time, by the way.
I'm heating it and stirring it, if I remember doing.
You really have to stir all the time. This is the secret of it. And in a little while, we're going to switch to a whisk, because the secret of Bechamel Moussaka is to get as much air in it as possible, which is why I also sieve the flour.
That's where I go
How
wrong.
much milk in total?
Have you added the eggs already?
Half a litre in and I'm still pouring.
I think, Rachel, you're trying to say something?
Yes. Have you added the eggs already?
Have you added eggs?
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet.
Eggs.
Let me add those right at the end.
You need 2 eggs, 2 fresh eggs, ready to go. But not yet.
Not yet. She hasn't put the stock in yet.
Yes.
Somebody was listening.
Well, have you put a litre of milk in there? Half a litre. She said, not more.
I think we're
Julia,
down.
how much milk?
Well, I'm already up to 2/3, and I'm going to put a bit more, and then I think I'll stop and put some stock in. So it's
Not the constituency. But what's the consistency they're aiming at?
the consistency is like you're almost getting double cream, thicker than double cream.
Thicker than double cream. So you want to get it down to just. Sorry?
Like a thin porridge.
Thin porridge or a creme fraiche, did you say?
No, just porridge.
Oh, just porridge, not creme fraiche.
Or double cream, or sort of thicker than double cream.
Custard, like custard?
Custard, thank you. I should have thought of that.
Is that lumpy custard or just runny custard?
A little bit more milk.
What's seasoning?
Any seasoning?
Well, I'm about to put stock cube in, so I might season it more. And we're also going to put some halloumi in, which is quite salty. So season as you wish. Now, I've kept back this much milk. I didn't need a whole litre. I've kept this much milk back. So I've put about 3/4 of a litre in.
But, Julia, can you just sort of pull the spoon up to show people the consistency of the thing?
So far, I'm going to make it at the moment.
Just pull a spoon up. So there we go. It looks like it's custard level, isn't it? Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I just check? Is it half a litre or a full litre?
Well,
1 litre, not a full litre.
Yeah, it's about 3/4 of a litre.
3/4. Okay, thank you.
And that is because, now where is my...
We're going to go to the cheese now, are we? There's a joke there, isn't it?
Huh?
What does the cheese say in the mirror?
Right, what I'm going to do now, guys...
Hello, me!
That's the one.
I'm going to use half a stock cube, chicken stock cube. I think it adds seasoning.
Into the pot? Where have you put it?
Into a jar.
Into a jar.
To one of these. But can take boiling hot water.
She's making some stock with a stock cube.
And I'm putting about
200, 300.
About 120, 150 mil.
So we're making a bit of stock.
Keep stirring your bechamel. It should be thickening by now.
Keep stirring the bechamel.
So I'm going to put some pepper into my bechamel. I like pepper everywhere.
Bit of pepper over the top of the bechamel.
Okay. I know we're running a bit late, aren't we, Paul?
You're about 10 minutes behind, I think. So not so bad.
Now I'm going to pour the stock in the bechamel as well.
Is that going to make it more runnier, Julie, or what does that do?
Make it a bit more runny. I've put the stock in now, and what I'm going to do now...
So the stock should be in the bechamel as well now. So it's now thinning down a little bit more, but it's still quite gooey, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Shall I...
Not lumpy, but gooey.
Everybody see? Can everybody see?
I can see that.
Yeah. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I want to get a load of air in it.
So we're now going to get the air in the bechamel, so you need a whisk, and you're going to whisk it up. Probably not worth having one of those rotating ones because that would spray it all over you, I guess.
Sorry, should the halloumi be in the sauce?
No, I'm literally about to do that, Anne. If you get your halloumi, then what I'm going to do is just put it.
Question.
Julie, have you put the eggs in yet?
No, not yet.
Yes?
No, eggs are not in.
No, okay.
Well, you've got halloumi being grated into the pot.
Julia, I just only got about half a litre before it went kind of thick. Is that okay, or for the?
Well, how thick is it? Is it like blancmange custard?
Blancmange, but that was before putting the. I haven't put the stock in yet, but.
Is it? Do you think it's too thin? You should be all right to put the stock in.
Okay.
Just maybe don't put all of it in. Is it too? Do you think it's too thick or too thin?
I was just concerned that I'd only put half a litre of milk in and thinking it maybe wasn't enough.
About quantity, more about consistency.
Just, I mean, look at mine now. It really is down to the consistency. Can you see it dropping off?
Okay, that's what mine's like now without having put the gravy stock in. So
you'll be all right to put a bit of gravy in.
And you've got to get some cheese in there as well. So you've got to grate some cheese in there.
Oh, how much halloumi?
Well, now this is a matter of taste, but this is quite a large halloumi, and I'm probably putting, I don't know, about a quarter of it in.
In terms of tablespoons, that would be about.
Yes, about 3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons of halloumi, but I think the cheese is the taste. Halloumi cheese is quite salty, just to warn you, if you're not familiar with it. But it's jolly nice.
That's probably enough for me for halloumi. That's it. And because we're going to grate some halloumi on the top as well.
Ah, right. So keep back some halloumi.
It's too watery.
Sorry, Marie.
If the roux is a little bit too watery.
Put some more flour in then, Marie.
Can I put some flour now without it gurgling?
It should be all right. It should be all right, but I think don't worry about it too much. Is it too much, too thin, or is it like pasta?
It's a little bit.
Look at mine.
Not quite thick enough.
You see?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So don't worry if it's like that.
All right.
Okay, guys, we're ready to pour now. I'm switching off.
Right. So if you've got there, then we're turning off the cooker, not the cooker, the pot.
Oh.
And we're going to lay.
Just a question: when do we put the 2 eggs in?
The eggs. Oh my God, it's right. You're supposed to switch off.
Yeah. Good recovery.
Supposed to what?
Switch off the heat.
Yeah.
And then add the eggs.
For eggs, and actually, I'm sorry, I used the whole egg, and that's why I switch it off. Because if you only use the yolk, it doesn't cook straight away. If you use the white.
Put it back in. Put 2 eggs.
So the whole eggs can you... Right, okay.
Off before you do it.
So turn the pot off. You're the eggs in a bowl, and you're going to tip the eggs into the bechamel.
Actually, I think mine needs a bit hard.
Do you put halloumi in there, Julie?
3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons.
Yeah.
And if your bechamel looks too thick, add some more water or now a little bit of egg. Right, put a bit of and stir really, really fast. with your whisk.
So you're tipping in all of the egg, or part, or doing it in bits?
Yes, bits. 2 eggs.
You tip some of the egg in and whisk it all in quickly. Put some elbow grease in, I reckon, by the look of that. It's good, Jim, this one.
Now, the bechamel is now cool enough that it won't overcook the eggs, so it doesn't matter. You can put them all in.
Put the rest of the egg in. Julia?
Yes, all of it.
All the eggs in now, so give it a good work around with a whisk.
Does it go back on the heat?
No, not yet.
Off the heat.
Off the heat completely. To stop the eggs overcooking, Robert.
Rightio.
Done their bechamel. Shall we start pouring?
It's the creation of the...
You to do by yourself.
No way. I can do this on my own.
Paused for a minute, just for everybody to catch up.
How are we all doing? We're all, yeah, thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up if you've created your bechamel extravaganza. Absolutely brilliant. Look at this. Look at this. We're over there.
Excellent.
We're needing a bit more time, I think.
Well, Maria and Catherine, you both have made bechamel with me before, haven't you? When we did the pasticcio. So
Yes.
exactly how to do it.
Well, no, I don't remember, but yes, thank you.
Can I just pour mine on now? I think I'm ready.
All right, now ready to pour. So you pour.
Pour it over the top.
Over the top, trying to cover all of it. And then at the end, you're going to have to spoon it out and cover it. Okay, where are we? Ooh.
Can't quite see what you can see the saucepan, Julia, but we can't see the finish.
I'm just moving the saucepan back and forth as I pour the bechamel to evenly cover everything in here. Whoops.
Sydney, could you give me that purple spoon, please?
Yes. Pour all of it. So get your, now I'm sort of finishing off. And with a wooden spoon, I'm moving it around to make sure it's covered everything from all the way. I'll show you in a second. Only I won't be able to show you for very long because otherwise it will all spill out.
Right, Julian, and this is pretty much the dish created by the final...
Yes, bar the final bits on the top before it goes in the oven.
I think you've caused a bit of time back, so chop chop.
Good.
Well done.
It's 8:20 in Switzerland. Hurry up, we're hungry.
Right,
so.
Sorry, I really like tasting my own bechamel.
This is where we watch Julia have a munch for about an hour. Right, so where are we now?
Right, now we're going to take a bit of milk, any milk, but I've got some from the milk I used before in a dish.
A little bit of milk in the bowl, a small dish.
Small amount of milk. I'm using the brush that I had before, and I'm just basically splashing it all over the
milk over the top of the bechamel, I think.
The tray looks like that now. Yeah.
Julia, what did you just put over the top of the bechamel there?
I'm splashing some milk over it.
Okay, thank you.
Can you see with the brush? I'm just literally splashing milk all over it.
Then we have breadcrumbs on the top. Is that the idea?
I think we'll sprinkle a few breadcrumbs over the top, Julia. Is that right?
Yes, I'm going to in a second. I'm getting there. You're ahead of me.
What does the milk do, Julia?
It just gives it a nice, it blends and makes it a nice brown glaze. Now the breadcrumbs. just sprinkle them, not too thick.
A little layer, light layer of dusting of some breadcrumbs over the top, I think is what's done.
Exactly, because it gives it a nice crusty top.
Bad we're not eating this tonight.
Extra cheese.
Could. We'll freeze the rest.
Yes, you can't. Yes, it goes a long way, especially because there's potatoes in it. Now, before we put it away,
are we going to put some extra cheese on top?
Yeah, we're going to grate some more cheese. Yeah. So Claire, we've got Roux Hoover coming round over the weekend to help us eat the rest of it, I think.
Right, there we are. Just you've put quite a bit of halloumi in the bechamel, so you only want it sprinkled over the top. That's it. That's enough. So we now pop it in the oven and leave it there. Oops, sorry. I'm just going to use my fingers to get it off the sides.
Put some cheese on top here, Julia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a light dusting, Mark.
So,
Mark, have everyone know that I have managed to cook following your brilliant example.
Mm-hmm.
And I have washed all the pans and all the dishes and finished the moussaka.
Wow, that's impressive.
And I don't have anyone else.
Right. So once you put the bechamel on, sprinkle it with milk, sprinkle it with breadcrumbs, and then the final touch, grate some halloumi over it. And it's ready to go in your hot oven. And you need to keep an eye on it from about half an hour, but it should take about 40 minutes. But you keep an eye on it in case it overcooks.
What temperature? Oven?
175.
175.
175. You need the oven on.
Hopefully you've got a hot oven. I hope you've got a hot oven, otherwise.
175.
Yeah. If you haven't got a hot oven, that's fine, but you'll need longer. Right, there it goes.
In the oven.
Top shelf or middle?
Middle.
Middle
Shelf. That's it. Moussaka is now in the oven cooking, and I'm going to take 5 minutes just to clear up a bit, and then we can chop some salad ready, if you like, for those who are having salad.
It's a 5-minute comfort break. Get your final bits together and into the oven.
Was it 140 on the oven?
175.
175. Thank you.
Right, the oven needs to be at 175, ready to go. So if it's not hot yet, you need to allow a bit of extra time. But it's about 40 minutes from now that should be ready. So Julia says, I think keep an eye on it in case it's over. Julia, when you say keep an eye on it,
well, you don't want it will start to go quite nice and brown over the top. You know, it will have that lovely crusty top. And if it's crusting too quickly, then you need to lower your oven so it takes a bit longer. If it's taking too long, then put your oven up to speed it up a bit, because you want it all to integrate.
To give people a clue, by what time should it be crusting up?
Do you know, I don't remember, but in about 15-20 minutes you should see it.
Start seeing evidence of a crusting.
Yeah.
I love it, Paul. You cook exactly like me. How many minutes, how many tablespoons, and exactly when, please? And I'm getting shouted at here. I told you it wasn't that much milk. That's all I'm getting.
So, Paul, just to clarify, is it my left eye or my right eye I keep on it?
Could be a brown eye for all I care about.
175.
Yeah, 175. Yeah.
I'd put the third eye on it.
Okay. So I'm just.
We got so hungry here. I made the salad and I'm eating it.
You don't cover it, do you?
It's very
You
Greek.
don't-
I mean, what you're meant to be doing is eating the olives at the moment.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
I'm just going to pause myself. I'm going to get a beer.
You cover it.
No, don't cover it. Leave it open in the oven.
Thank you.
We're thinking, Julia, like a young Greek Delia Smith.
I'm not as precise as Delia. I'm like, wow.
No.
Too precise.
I'm just tidying away so that I can get my beautiful salad vegetables out to chop up.
I need a tea. I know everyone's drinking wine, but I need a tea.
For you, I've had my tea.
Uh-huh.
And I've now had a gin and tonic. I need to. Well, I wouldn't mind actually. I'm almost finished. We can get some olives out, I guess. Pardon?
We will need some plates.
Yes.
I'll leave it to do.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me feed you.
What we've got the case for is people asking questions, same question over and over and over. Yes, boys. This away. It will take about 15 minutes, so I'll start chopping in a minute to have it ready.
Right, little chance to clear up. And the Greek salad chopping. Any of you familiar with Greek salads? Julia's artist to chop everything up into minuscule bits. So get your knives sharpened, I think is the message, and get a nice big chopping board ready.
Yes. What else do we want? Put these away. Away.
A little clear up. So you need a big chopping board, a sharp knife, and the primary ingredients I guess they need are lettuce, coriander, parsley, rocket if you've got it. That's a good rhyme. Spring onions, small green thin pepper, Greek pepper, not the big bell pepper things, tomatoes, and the classic lemon juice and olive oil. Oh, and a bit of balsamic vinegar. When I first met Julia on a Sunday roast, we even had lemon juice and olive oil all over our vegetables, which I found a little interesting. So olive oil and lemon juice feature quite a lot in Greek cooking.
Tastes good.
Tastes bad. Loads of vitamin C, everybody. We need it at the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
So Julia, you're doing quite well there actually. I think we're only about 5 minutes off the schedule. So hopefully just after 8 o'clock that will be ready to sit down and eat. So we need about 15 minutes for this salad chopping thing.
Before all the breadcrumbs. I think I did all that before. Oh. Can you hear me as well on the screen?
I can hear you. I can hear you on the phone to somebody.
Hello?
I'm going to mute you while you're on the phone.
Okay.
You're on the phone to Charlotte by any chance? Oh yes, there's Charlotte. I can see her on the phone to Heather.
Adrian is here too.
Hello.
Hey, Adrian. How are you, big man?
Can't see you.
Sure keeping Claire busy.
There you are.
Smells good in here though.
I hope you're hungry tonight, fella.
Adrian, have you got a beard?
Yeah. He's looking swarthy.
I just don't have time. You know, I'm so busy as a retired guy. Lazy is the word.
So Claire, it is lunchtime there now.
Well, it's 1:30, yeah.
So you're not tempted with a glass then?
It's only Wednesday.
Paul, you got a cushy ride there, haven't you? Julia's working away.
Yeah, I'm just sitting in the back here waiting for it to be done.
Not too bad. No, he's got the more difficult job. He's organising us.
I didn't do anything either. Julie done all the prep.
So Anne said, "What's on top?" I don't know how long ago that was. So hopefully we got past that now. I've only just seen the message.
Oh. I didn't look at all the messages because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get it done.
I've been on top of most of them, Julia. I've missed a couple by the look of it. I know Anne's also said, "Got it."
Okay, great.
It's a bit. It's good news when people answer their own questions.
I've just finished my second bechamel because I've made two.
Why?
With all my vegetables.
Oh, you've made two moussakas.
Yeah, I'm just finishing off the second one now.
Brilliant.
Dinner for 40 at my house tonight.
Are you on time, Meryl?
Yes, I'm finished.
You're finished, all finished, so you can rest up now and wait. I just chopped some salad. Yes, mine's still doing. I'm going to put mine up a bit.
How are you doing, Julie?
Good.
You're not tired?
No, I'm good. I'm really enjoying it.
Lovely.
Good work so far, Julia.
Hello?
I said very good work.
Oh, well.
Thank you.
Well, don't say that until we're eating. Then
Yeah, are we getting ready for this salad chopping thing?
we're We're ready for this salad chopping thing.
So you need your board, you need your knife, and what do you want first?
Here's my board. It's quite a big one because it goes everywhere. It's the one I chop the parsley on.
Huge board.
Here's my great big knife. And I'm going to get a big bowl. Salad bowl.
Salad bowl to put it all in. So I think the thing is you chop it all up and it all goes in the bowl as you're chopping it up.
Yes, it does, exactly.
And then you mix it all up later. So I think you chop everything up, isn't it, Julia, if I remember? And then when you get to the end, you then squeeze your lemon juice and olive oil all over it and mix it all. Quite easy, really.
What does a Greek pepper look like, different to a bell pepper?
Well,
That's not already been chopped up.
They're very thin things. They're like long little thing.
Funnily enough, I couldn't get any Greek rocket, and we ate all our other rocket yesterday. So I'm putting in extra coriander, and I've got a thin red pepper because it's up to you. It's completely up to taste. But I find that the bell peppers, the thick-skinned peppers, I prefer them cooked because I don't digest them so easily. It's just a personal thing. But the thin-skinned peppers I can digest much better raw. So, and I love the flavour of it in the salad. So I use the very thin ones that I get in Greek shops, then I cut it really thin. So I've now got a long red one instead because I couldn't get one after all that. So probably